one day I shall come back. Yes, I shall come back. Until then, there must be no regrets, no tears, no anxieties. Just go forward in all your beliefs and prove to me that I am not mistaken in mine.
Sometimes I think you're probably the finest ship ever to have sailed the vortex. Oh, my word.
So now we know.
Now we know for sure.
But why are they here, hmm? Why are all the doctors here?
Hello, my dear.
Doctor?
What is it, Nessa?
Here. Look.
In the doll's house, what?
Look through the window.
Come on, Ace! Run! Back to the TARDIS!
What's happened? Where am I?
You're in the TARDIS. How do you do?
I beg your pardon?
Oh, no need to. I'm the Doctor, and this is...
I am Leela.
All of them? They were you?
Here we go, 3 minutes past 5.
1703.
The 23rd of November, 1963.
The 23rd of November, 1963.
59A Barnesfield Crescent, Totton, Hampshire.
Crescent, Totton, Hampshire, England. Earth.
Stop fiddling about and get on with it.
Charlie, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. We'll come back for you. You hear me, Charlie?
Doctor, no!
Appears to be some kind of warning.
All this cloak and dagger business? You're clearly up to no good.
By all means, please do come out to play, Doctor. I'm waiting for you.
Hello everyone out there on YouTube, it's me, the Pandorica Opens, welcoming you to a special Doctor Who action figure review. Now as you know, it's November, which means not long now until Doctor Who celebrates its 50th birthday. And what better way to celebrate than with two very special 50th anniversary action figure reviews. And the first one I'd like to welcome you to is The Light at the End, named after the Big Finish story for the 50th anniversary. The Light at the End. I literally got mine today and it is a fantastic story. I recommend it to anyone. It's a really wonderful 50th anniversary story. It was everything I was hoping it would be, and it really made me feel sentimental about Doctor Who and the fact that the show has been around for 50 years, making my childhood and making a number of other people's lives very happy, I'm sure. So how this review is going to run is, The Light at the End obviously is about the classic Doctors. This review will focus on the first 8 Doctors mainly. It will, and also, as you can see, the Master. What I'm going to do is this will be in a couple of parts, mainly focusing on each Doctor's figure. Now I know what you're thinking, some of these figures I've already reviewed, what are they doing here? Well, not to worry, there are some variants of these Doctors I haven't covered, and they will be covered in this review. So there'll be very rare exceptions where there isn't another variant available or I don't have it, and I will just briefly talk you through a figure that I've done before. So in the case of Paul McGann, it will just basically be a little reminder, but every other figure will be a variant you haven't seen before in my reviews. Another thing to note is the second part of my 50th anniversary reviews will focus on the new series Doctors. That will be called Day of the Doctor, and that will be coming in a few days, possibly a week's time, as this is going to be quite a monumental review, and with everything going on in my life at the moment, it's been difficult just to get the time to film this little special. But anyway, enough from me. It's time to go into this monumental review, and we'll begin where it all began on November 23rd, 1963, with the first man of mystery, and that is the first Doctor, William Hartnell.
Stop fiddling about and get on with it.
The first Doctor, William Hartnell, 1963 to 1966. The Doctor is a mysterious character from another time and another world. He has a time machine called TARDIS, which is disguised as a police box and is bigger on the inside than the outside. So this figure is obviously William Hartnell. It's a fantastic figure, and obviously this is a Doctor I haven't reviewed before in the previous episode, so we'll focus on this one quite a lot. And I'll begin obviously with articulation. The articulation's the same for all the Doctors. Arms can do a 360. The biceps can do a 360. The arms can bend. His hands can turn. Be careful, as the cuffs of his coat may pop the hand out. His legs go forward and backward. They have thigh articulation. Mine's very stiff as it isn't used very much. And the knees can bend, and there is no ankle articulation for this figure. So this variant of, one last thing, the head can turn slightly, not too much, it's a bit stiff. It can't do a 360 because of his wig. So William Hartnell, the first Doctor, this variant is seen in the 11 Doctors set. A lot of the figures I'm going to be reviewing are from that set, and this particular costume that William Hartnell is wearing is not actually from his own tenure, it's from the 3 Doctors, which is why I've got the 3rd and 2nd Doctor in the back. And I really like this costume. It's probably no surprise that the William Hartnell costume is an inspiration for the 8th Doctor costume with the frock coat and cravat, etc. But anyway, let's go into some of the details. One little note, he's got his accessory, which is his walking stick, sculpted in a matte black plastic. It's very rubbery, kind of like the Sylvester McCoy umbrella, and that's very, very nice and crooked and twisted. And you've got the handle there, and this is the walking stick that he first gets in Marco Polo. So the detail. I'll begin with the face sculpt, as that is the most impressive thing. It's fantastic. It looks just like William Hartnell, instantly recognisable, and I actually think it's one of the better head sculpts because unlike with other Doctors, because William Hartnell's obviously an old man, they've really put some effort into putting the wrinkles of his foot on his forehead, and it really shows his age quite well. You can't see it very well on camera, I apologise, but the wrinkles are there. There's some red around his eyes, which is all very nice. His eyebrows have been sculpted on very, very nice, and I think the face sculpt captures this Doctor's persona spot on. I mean, he was a bit of a crotchety, grumpy old man some of the time, but over the time he did become a more gentle, kind and caring character. So I really think this sculpt does William Hartnell's Doctor justice. I think it's brilliant. The hair is, well, I say hair, it's the wig is very, very nice. It's the combed back white long hair he had. That's been painted in white, and that's got some darker finishes over it to highlight the hair, and that's all very, very nice. I'll just take his cane away for a moment and look at the costume. The frock coat is very, very nice. It's got the buckle details on the back there, the lines are very, very nice, a couple of creases. You've got the pockets sculpted on very nice, the row of buttons here with the 5 buttons on each side, which is very, very nice. The arms have got some creases in, which are very good. So the frock coat's very, very nice. The cravat and shirt are very, very nice as well. The shirt is in white, as it is in the 3 Doctors, and just the front bit points downwards, and the rest of it is just completely clear, which is how it was. The cravat is black as opposed to the blue that the initial release of William Hartnell had. And another nice little feature when we look at the waistcoat is they've actually sculpted on the monocle, which is brilliant. I think it works better being sculpted on than actually being an accessory, as that might hang strange. So the fact that they've sculpted that on is very nice attention to detail. And that's got the strap just hanging there at the sides of his cravat, and the monocle, just a silver circle just inside his jacket. The waistcoat is an off-whitish colour with the 2 sets of lines going along it, which is very, very good. That's how it looked in the Three Doctors. You can see the rows of buttons going down and the one button that's not fastened there as well. Unfortunately, mine's just got a slight paint issue on there. There is a bit of paint that's like dripped onto the waistcoat, but I don't mind. Still a very, very nice figure. And the last things to look at are the trousers. They're just moulded in grey plastic. And they're T-jointed, but they can't quite go out because of his coat. And they're just all grey, and they've got very, very nice creases. And his shoes are in a matte brown, I believe. I can't tell in this light. Possibly black. It's a very, very dark, it's a dark brown. So the first Doctor figure is very, very nice. It's very, very good. And it's very, very close to the costume that he wore in the Three Doctors. You can't actually tell very much in the Three Doctors, as obviously William Hartnell was ill at this time and couldn't really play the character as much. He didn't appear on screen with the other Doctors. He was just sat on a monitor for most of it. And there's one clip where he's in a garden and you see this costume, albeit in black and white. That would have been a nice little thing if they could do this variant in black and white. So that's the first Doctor. A very, very nice figure and a very, very welcome addition to the line. And like I said, it can be obtained by buying the 11 Doctors set. So next we'll move on to the Intergalactic Hobo, which is the second Doctor, Patrick Troughton.
Oh my word!
The second Doctor, 1966 to 1969. The first Doctor regenerated while battling the Cybermen during the events of the 10th planet and eventually collapsed, exhausted. His body renewed itself and transformed into the second Doctor. The second Doctor's characteristics centred around his ability to mislead his enemies as to the actual threat he posed to their plans. A very apt description for Patrick Troughton. Now, this figure is basically a repaint of the previous Patrick Troughton figure I reviewed in my Tomb of the Cybermen review. If you want to know about that, please go and watch that. And again, this is a very, very nice figure. There's not as much to say about this one as the first Doctor, because obviously it is just a repaint. I won't go into articulation, it is just standard like with the first Doctor. Another thing to note, this variant of Patrick Troughton is also from the Three Doctors, rather than his own seasons, which is an interesting choice, but a bit of an odd one when we get to the Pertwee. But anyway, I'll come to that in a moment. So the only differences with this Patrick Troughton are that his bow tie is now painted in the black colour rather than the blue as it appeared in the story of the Three Doctors. Again, proving that bow ties were cool back then. And the shirt is still blue as it was, except the buttons are now in the white as opposed to silver. So that's a nice little tiny detail to change. The little handkerchief in his pocket is also different. This one is basically the same sculpt, it's the red, but now it's got the creamy colour painted over it, so it matches it's very close to the cravat he wears on screen. Again, he comes with his recorder, no changes to that. It's the same sculpt, it's the same paint job, but it's still a very nice accessory for him to have. And the only other thing to mention really that's different about this figure is that his trousers are in a kind of tan brown, and you won't be able to see this on camera, but if you have the figure in hand, go and have a look, you can see very pale grey checkers on his trousers, which is a very, very nice little attention to detail. But other than that, this variant, not too much to say. It's a very nice repaint and a very welcome variant. When it came out with the 11th Doctor set, people were expecting it to be the fur coat. That wasn't the case, but the fur coat rather, is due to be released in a diorama set sometime later this year. So that's okay, we will eventually see the fur coat. This again came with the 11th Doctor set and is a very welcome variant of Patrick Troughton. It's the second variant we have, and I believe this is the one that got re-released with the Dr. Dalek 2-pack, but don't quote me on that as I do not own that set. And I say another welcome figure to definitely buy. Again, you have to buy the 11th Doctor set. But the next figure is not from the 11th Doctor set and is certainly not from the 3 Doctors, but still, we'll have a look at it, and that is the 3rd Doctor, as played by Jon Pertwee. The 3rd Doctor, Jon Pertwee, 1970 to 1974. Exiled to Earth, this sophisticated and elegant Doctor was more of a pure scientist than his predecessors, surrounded by gadgets and vehicles, but whether aiding units against invasions or travelling to distant planets, his kindness and belief in peace was rarely stronger. So this variant of Jon Pertwee is a very, very welcome variant. I personally, before the Dr. Dalek 2-pack came out, this was my favourite variant of Pertwee. Mainly because it's from Death of the Daleks and I quite like Death of the Daleks. This figure was released as an exclusive. It was one of 2 exclusives when the 3rd Doctor first emerged as a figure. And this one came packaged with a Death of the Daleks Dalek. The sculpt of the figure is basically the same as the Carnival of Monsters and the Dr. Dalek 2-pack sculpt. It's exactly the same. It's just a repaint and a re-shoeing. The only notable difference is that this Pertwee has a bow tie, a dicky bow, as opposed to the cravat, which is something that he did wear. He did wear bow ties on occasion. And that is moulded in a, I can't tell whether it's red, it looks like a very dark burgundy red. Yes, it is. So that's a nice little change. It's opened up a lot of variants for Pertwee. The face sculpt on this figure is again very, very nice. That looks like Pertwee captured his likeness brilliantly. The paint job on his hair is also very, very good. The white paint with the darker washes over it to highlight his hair. I'm still waiting for them to do a fair head Pertwee, but I may be waiting for that for a long time, but especially with the line supposedly slowing down, which I hope it isn't. Again, comes with his sonic screwdriver, as it appeared in Sea Devils and some other stories. Very, very nice. But now I'll talk about the costume. As you know, I mentioned in previous reviews, the cut of his jacket is the same on every figure, which is not correct for each jacket he wore, as he did wear different jackets with different lapels and different collars. So the cuts of the collars were always different. Is this one accurate to the story? No, it isn't. It's not accurate to the story at all. The colour of the coat is, and the highlights on his lapels are, but the cut of the collar is not that long. I believe it's a lot thinner than that, and certainly not as high. So if you were after an accurate version of this costume, you won't get it, but is it really that much of a problem? The cut of his jacket is wrong. I don't think it is. I think that the fact that you've got a variant alone that represents something very, very close to what appeared on screen is good enough. But anyway, the costume is, yeah, as I said, the black coat with the red highlights. It's very, very nice. You've got all sorts of creases sculpted into that. It's very, very good. He's got a blue frilled shirt. As you can see, the buttons aren't painted a different colour as they were blue. And again, the cuffs of his shirt are painted the same. They're very, very nice. He's got the buttons sculpted on his cuffs of his coat as well, in the pockets. And the trousers are the legs, are the boot variant of Pertwee. This figure has been released twice. It's been released with the boots for the Death of the Daleks version, and the Green Death version, which had the shoes. So basically, he's wearing the tucked-in trousers, sculpt, all creased and very, very nice, and they're in a very, very dull brown, almost grey colour. It's a dull brown, but it is a dull brown, not grey. What am I talking about? And the boots are the gloss black boots that he wears in Death of the Daleks, with the line sculpted on, and it's all very, very nice. So as a variant, it's a nice variant. It was one of the first ones to come out. It's very, very good. Obviously not accurate, but it's still very, very nice. It's a welcome addition to Pertwee, since most Pertwees tend to be exclusives. This one might be one you'd want to track down. So I'd say if you want this variant in particular, with the boots and bow tie, then you need to track down the Death of the Daleks 3rd Doctor 2-pack from Forbidden Planet, or go online. It might cost you a fair bit online, but if you can get it in store, brilliant. And you'll get a very nice variant of Dalek as well. So this 3rd Doctor is probably a variant you'll want to look for. So that's the first 3 Doctors. Stay tuned for part 2, when we look at the next batch of Doctors, which will be Tom Baker, Peter Davison, and Colin Baker.